It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Breakfast, talking your real estate news 7 days a week, as heard on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Amazon. Love a Tuesday. It means we've got Monday out of the way, 12th day of November today. And spare a thought for the thousands of Americans who were wanting that housing relief that Kamala Harris was offering and were set to benefit from $25,000 for buying their first property. Ouch, a lot of readjustment taking place, and we'll take you to our man on the ground in the US in just a moment. Also this morning, we're off to Adelaide to talk with Mike Lao. He's the principal at Edge Realty. Now, Mike has got some very interesting data from the suburb that he is working in, and if you're a first-time home buyer, listen up. And last week, we were having this conversation, weren't we, about the upper versus the lower North Shore of Sydney, and the data telling us that the upper North Shore is becoming as popular as the lower North Shore, particularly due to value for money and people wanting a little bit more dirt for their backyards. And we'll be catching up with Isabella Yan in Chatswood. But first, let's go to Patrick Duffy, the senior real estate economist working for the U.S News and World Report. G'day there, Patrick. Welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast. That was a little bit of a surprise, eh? What did you think last week's general election result?
First of all, thank you for having me on this morning, Craig. I really appreciate it. I think people are looking at this as the greatest political comeback in U.S. history. It's very interesting. And I think what people have voted for are their fears more than the hopes. Trump is promising a lot of things that are going to bring us back to pre-pandemic times. I do wish him the best of luck. I hope we get there to the best of his ability. I think people are going to learn about the economy and how it works in the U.S. place in the world over the next 4 years. So I'm looking forward to a very interesting 4 years and probably in some ways different than his first 4 years.
Yeah, well, of course, here in Australia, one of the big talking points has been the trade tariffs. Now, if that's implemented, and if it's implemented widely, Australia is going to take a little bit of a hit on that, along with many other countries. So there's a lot of nervousness, I think we could fair to say, right around the world from different markets.
Yeah, tariffs, I mean, if they're strategic, that's one thing, but across the board, they're a tax on the consumer. And here in the U.S., I think the appeal to a lot of Trump voters is bringing back manufacturing, which is now about 10% of the GDP and 10% of workers. But the inflation impacts everyone. It'll be interesting to see how he threads that needle. And then you have retaliation from other governments on tariffs. So it can get very, very messy. So I hope they just keep it strategic.
Yeah, and just in terms of the immigration is interesting in terms of the mass deportations that he's talked about. I think what people don't realise is the market in terms of the immigrants buying into the real estate market. That's a bit of a number, isn't it, in terms of that cohort?
Well, it's more impacting the rental market. When people come, they live in urban areas and they rent for the first couple of years. It's difficult for them to buy a mortgage. There are specific type of mortgages for undocumented immigrants that are a bit more expensive than traditional mortgages. And what I was reading, even if those people get deported, the family that remains still manages to pay the mortgage. So I don't know how much that would actually open up supply.
And just before I let you go, I don't know if you can actually answer this one, but the other day I was talking about traditional media versus social media and how much of a factor was the Elon Musk and the Joe Rogan, the sit-downs for Trump pre-election, how much of a factor that might have played in the final tally-up.
Yeah, I think you raise a good question about the change in media. The media seems to talk to each other. And apparently Trump's son, Barron, advised them where to go and what podcast to go on, including Joe Rogan's. And when Harris didn't go on, that caused a problem, I guess, for those people that wanted to hear from her on that platform. So I think part of that's just the overall shift from where people get their news away from traditional mainstream media towards TikTok, YouTube, and also hopefully U.S. News, because we're always online. It's sort of the first time we've seen a shift like this towards that it's actually maybe changed a presidential election.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting 4 years. Hey, great to catch up with you, Patrick. Thanks for jumping on the call this morning.
Great to be with you, Craig. I appreciate it.
Ready to step up your property knowledge? Access powerful insights with us.
And are you one of these people that have been really hurt hard with the higher interest rates, which has cut your borrowing capacity by up to 40%, which has been a real big gut punch for buyers having to reevaluate literally everything in their life? The downstream effect is a much more concentrated emphasis to buy in more affordable areas. And if that doesn't work, unfortunately, people are forced to downsize, moving from a 4-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, for an example, or maybe from a 3-bed to a 2-bed, or from a 2-bed to a 1-bed. What happens then? Oh, yes, I guess you can go from a 1-bed into a studio. So people really are adapting, and they have to in order to keep a roof and shelter within grasp of what is happening with the interest rate chaos that has been thrust upon them. So let's go to Adelaide this morning and catch up with Mike Lao. He is the principal of Edge Realty. And a good morning to you, Mike. Welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast. As I mentioned, some people's borrowing capacity, you would have seen this firsthand, up to 40% reduced.
Hello, Craig. Thank you for having me. Yeah, 100%. We've seen a rental crisis happening here in Adelaide. Basically, there's a shortage of rentals, shortage of accommodations where it's people something to buy or something to rent.
Now, you're on this list of one of these suburbs that has really exploded, Darwin Park, where prices rose 82% since May of 2022. How did that happen?
I think it was such a well-kept secret for so long. I started in 2008. Back then, we were selling for 100,000 to 200,000. In 2019, we're still selling them for 100,000 to 200,000. And then after the pandemic, it's just exploded. I think people just realised that how affordable it was, how good the infrastructure, what the potential. People came there for the affordability, people living it, and the investors came hunting the yield. They could literally positive gear properties and buy multiple properties.
So when you say 100,000, was that unit or houses?
No, they were freestanding houses. Yeah, I actually bought my own freestanding house for 125,000 on 600 square meters. So, yeah, you could solid brick as well.
Oh, people are crying, and that was, you said 2019. What were they selling for in 2019?
In 2019, they're probably getting closer towards the 200. So they're probably 180, 190, 200. Some of the nicer ones were over 200. We're literally 27 kilometres from the city. It's about 25-minute drive.
Oh, look, so many people are absolutely crying into their cereal, their breakfast this morning, Mike. This is sad, but fantastic for you. I would imagine you would have got a lot of investors coming into town, maybe once they heard about the secret and buying up and adding to their portfolios.
Yeah, we had a lot of buyers, agents, investment groups. They held seminars. I actually took them on tours and explained a little bit about the suburbs. But yeah, because we were so affordable, people were literally buying, 3 or 4, 5 or 6 at a time, some of them.
So what's been happening now? So where are the median prices for both unit and freestanding homes?
The units, there's not too many units other than what you call a semi-detached home, which is like still a Torrens title home, but you're sharing an adjoined wall. So those ones are selling from 400 up to 500. Freestanding homes are selling pretty much 600 up to 700. And then brand new builds, depending on the size, are going for over 700. That's the range of properties we're selling in Darwin Park now.
So even though you've gone 82% increase, first home buyers, this would still, I would imagine, be a big sector of your market, would it?
Yes, the median price in Adelaide is sitting about 800,000. So where we are at 500, 600, 700, we're definitely first home buyer territory. We've got a lot of new builds happening, and the government's been kind enough to offer first home owners grant. So if you buy a new home, you get 15. They've been kind enough to offer stamp duty relief. So if you buy a brand new home and you're first home buyer, you don't have to pay stamp duty. And then they recently removed the cap, because the cap was about 600, 650, but the houses have gone past that. So now they've removed the cap. If they can afford a brand new house, they don't have to pay stamp duty. So if I'm a first home buyer and I buy a brand new home for 800,000 or 700,000, I'm literally saving $50,000 or $60,000.
Wow, so there you go. There's an area that still has an affordability factor, because, you know, when we're talking about losing 40%, that is an area that first home buyers can get into. Adelaide, of course, Mike, has been a real success story, hasn't it, over the last few years? Continues to sort of take up a lot of the news headlines around real estate in Australia.
Yeah, Adelaide was a bit of a secret, but I think we're starting to get recognised. Adelaide was voted the 11th most livable city in the world, according to The Economist, and that happened in 2024. We very recently, a couple of months ago, got crowned the most beautiful city by Architectural Digest. I've never heard of them, but they did it, so I'll call them out. Australian Bureau of Statistics said that Adelaide had the highest economic growth in the whole country for the quarter of June 2024. A few accolades for Adelaide. You know, we used to be a quiet town, but I guess we're maturing now.
Yeah, definitely maturing. Looking forward to 2025?
Yes, there's more stock in the market. Real estate's what I do, is what I love. So yeah, I'll keep helping people move and find their homes and so on.
Well, good on you, Mike. Well, thank you for giving us a really good breakdown on Devoran Park. That really does actually put it into perspective in terms of why it was on that list, and such an impressive price growth of 82% since May of 2022. Good luck there in Adelaide.
Thank you, Craig.
So, yes, there is plenty of competition maybe going on between the upper and the lower North Shore. Let's catch up with Isabella Yan. I guess you can't get too caught up in the argument one way or the other if you're in the middle.
For us, I think we are just located in the heart of Chatswood, but I think Chatswood just between lower North Shore and the upper North Shore. I think for us, the greater opportunity is for upper North Shore, they got a bigger land, but Chatswood is more convenient.
Yes, well, you've got the rail, of course, and, we talk about this metrification, follow the railway line, and you'll always do pretty good around that infrastructure.
Yes. If people take a metro from Chatswood to Barangaroo, just 10 minutes to city. So it's very convenient. But also in Chatswood area, not just for convenient location, also for greater education opportunity.
And we were talking about migration. What have you seen around migration, particularly there in Chatswood? Is that still going along pretty well?
Yes. I think Chatswood will have three different types of buyers. Firstly, it's local buyers, they're from different areas, move to Chatswood. The people living in Chatswood, they're still happy to stay in the area, so maybe change a property as local buyers. And also we're attractive because we have plenty of new apartments, particularly appealing to overseas investors. And another thing is new immigrants, when they come to Australia, they are not convenient, but Chatswood like special for Asian people. We have high-rise buildings. We also have houses for them to choose.
All right then, Isabella, thanks for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast this morning and pointing out the fact that you're neither upper nor lower. You're sort of slap bang in the middle.
Gain insights with exclusive conversations from real estate professionals about buying, selling and investing across Australia. We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.